in the NFL draft. 257 picks. One to last. And there's one that still stands out. It still stands out from Thursday night.
One of these
it's the sorest of draft thumbs that I've seen in the history of drafts and thumbs. And it is the 8th overall pick from Thursday night. And I'm sure some Falcons fans are like, really? You're still beating this drum, Rich? And certainly there might be some in the Falcons organization that would be like, there's a page. We're turning it. We've turned the page. If you've got a great quarterback room, let's talk about that.
Oh, no.
And, Michael Penix Jr. drafted 8th overall. And again, I'm not bringing this up because I think he's not worthy of the 8th overall pick. He sure is. He could, out of all the guys being drafted, I thought, that whole stuff about dropping out of the first round made no sense to me. It never did, but it is a league where Will Levis dropped out of the first round last year, and I didn't think that was going to happen, and it did, so who knows? And the kid is just electric. He's got a great story, as you could see on the screen, a great smile, and he looks great in Falcons colors. You know what I mean? Like, this guy can spin it. So, not about that. It's just about the fact that he's drafted there after Kirk Cousins is signed for $180 million, 100 of it guaranteed, 90 of it being paid out over the next 2 years. And I understand. I might be falling into just the same old rut here as everybody else in our sports business because we're not leading with Zeke. Sorry to say today. I know it's a Cowboys thing, and Zeke's back with the Cowboys, and I should be the rest. I mean, that's in the manual of hosting a 3-hour-long sports talk radio simulcast. That's in the manual. Must lead. And then when it's Zeke coming back, sorry, I'm still stuck on this.
You didn't write it.
And the Falcons can understand it because Raheem Morris, in his post-draft press conference, had this to say about the chatter surrounding this choice.
I hate for it to be like the story of the draft. I know it will be. That's just how our world is based and is driven. But I can't say it gets annoying. I can't say it's annoying, no, because it's what people want to see is piqued more interest. I feel like, what's Kelsey's girlfriend name? I feel like her right now, just based off. I'm Taylor Swift right now, and Terry's Kelsey, I guess. I mean, we're making this thing popular, man. I don't know what that is.
What are we doing? He's tired, guys. He's getting tired. We should probably wrap this up. We're going to
We're famous right now. I don't know.
That's true.
Well, he said the line of the day. What are we doing? I think everyone's wondering that.
Well, I mean, and plus, if there's anybody that can understand that things get slap happy after 257 picks, it is a guy who spent the last 20 minutes on the air of a 3-day stint on NFL Network saying, let's hurry this up because I have a flight to catch. And I did get a lot of tweets from people saying, hey, did you catch your plane? And I did. This just in. I did. And you'll be happy to know the person in front of me reclined before I did.
Wow.
And you know what I did? You know what I did? You know what I did in response? You know what I did in response? I reclined.
Yeah.
Weak. Because you know what? That's the way it works.
Well,
all right, I don't want to go there. Stop.
Weak. I'm just saying, he saw
Stop.
it. He saw it.
To continue the analogy, I guess, am I the tortured poet here?
Nice. Hold on. Society, tortured poets.
The department, but that's okay.
Department, whatever.
Listen, reason why we're talking about it is not for clicks. I just still cannot compute because this is going to be a storyline all season long. All season long. How does it work? Because normally it's the other way around. You have the bridge quarterback costing you very little, not $100 million guaranteed. But of course, the Falcons don't consider him as a quarterback to be bridged to because eventually Penix is going to play once Cousins is done winning Super Bowls there. And Cousins is not a bridge quarterback because he's their current quarterback, and that's the way they're going to have it. And at some point, they're going to get through all this awkwardness, and they'll get to the Jordan Love phase that the Packers are in right now. All the awkwardness of the Rodgers years, long gone. Just like the Favre awkwardness with Rodgers was long gone for a dozen years. They're going to get to that sweet spot. And everybody's going to look at them and say, yeah, you were right to use the 8th overall pick on Penix. Because that's where they're at right now. They're at like, this is the best possible situation for them to be in. You may not buy it, but Terry Fontenot thinks exactly that. This is what he had to say.
If you'd have told me in January that when we're sitting there and the quarterback, you weren't wondering who's going to be our quarterback next year, right? And we're getting ready. Okay, now Raheem's in the building and we're sitting down. Okay, what's the first thing that we got to do? The elephant in the room, as Raheem called it. We got to figure out this quarterback situation. If you'd have told me at that time that we're going to have Kirk Cousins for right now and Michael Penix for the future, I would have told you it was a pipe dream. I would have told you that if you'd have told me that, I would have said, sign me up for that.
Now, the issue with that is we're going to reach out for Terry because I can't keep talking about him without inviting him on this program. And he was great coming on before, and we had great conversations. But I'm just wondering if sodium pentothal is injected, and we're meeting the parents, okay? And I'm marking the heart monitor on the detector here. That if I had told him that in January, after Morris was hired, who, by the way, is a terrific coach, and we'll get to that in a second. If I had told Terry, you do get Cousins and you do get Penix, he probably would have said, oh, Penix dropped all the way to us in the second round? No, Terry, you used the 8th overall selection on him. Would he have then said, oh, sign me up? Don't know about that. 8th overall picks play fast. That's how it works. And on top of it, it's not the same as Jordan Love and Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers had a dozen years, at least, a decade and a half in the system, in the building, in the fan base, in the mind's eye. Trophy in the case. Cousins has no such buildup with this fan base. If you don't think a 2 years ago frequent Kirk Cousins game crops up, you've got the Saints in town. Because I'm choosing the team that the Falcons fans want to beat the most. And he has a couple of interceptions. You don't think the fans are going to be going nuts in Atlanta and screaming for Michael Penix Jr.?
I have an idea. What if Sunday 1 o'clock games are for Kirk, and then Thursday, Monday, Sunday night are for Penix?
Now, you're saying this to point out the absurdity of this, because it is absurd on its face that you would sign somebody for that much money and then use the 8th overall pick to not supplement the obvious tight window for somebody in his mid-30s, fresh to town, throwing out first pitches at the Braves game, talking about wanting to stay there the rest of his career, coming off an Achilles injury. You need to supplement him with a draft choice that can win now. Plug and play. Let's go. You're pointing out the absurdity of it because it is absurd.
But why don't you subscribe to the theory that they're pushing, which is like, look, if we're as good as we think we can be and we have the potential to be, we're going to be picking in the late 20s for the next decade. So why not get our guy after Kirk? Kirk is 36, coming off of a major injury.
All of that response, the fact that you need to have a good backup quarterback because he's coming off of injury.
Or just because 130 quarterbacks have played in the last 2 years.
Excuse me. All of those things are said as a spin to cover up the fact that you don't do what they've just done in the NFL, which is look a guy in the middle of the 30s of his career, at the end of his career, and say, leave Justin Jefferson, leave Kevin O'Connell, leave the fan base, leave the schools that you have your kids in, leave the life that you have to come here and then call that guy while they're on the clock to say, we're taking a 24-year-old that is really good and can play now. You don't do that.
But this is not the first time this has happened in the history of the NFL.
I am explaining to you the way I'm feeling. I understand what you're saying. None of that stuff of we need to get another quarterback for the future. We need to make sure Kirk Cousins isn't going to be the starter this year right away. We need to have a better backup plan. Was not a single whit of it over the last 6 weeks until they drafted Michael Penix. Now it's like, well, this is a smart move, which it can be in the long run. And I'm happy, Chris, for you, certainly because happy wife, happy life.
He's very excited about it.
If the Falcons get a trophy in the case with Penix or 2 or 3, happy to come on the air and say, mea culpa, my bad. You know, I never have a problem doing that. No. I just don't understand this method. And Raheem Morris came into Atlanta, rightfully so. Raheem Morris came into Atlanta with the MO of great coach, molder of men. The number of people that he has coached in the past to say, I will follow this man into the fire. I lost track of people going to the Hall of Fame, people playing Pro Bowls, and I trust him. And I hear from the Rams organization how great he is. And honestly, he's going to have to need all of that if Cousins does not perform very well. He's going to need all of it. And then heaven forbid if Penix isn't ready either. And we'll see what happens there. But this is what he had to say about what task lies in front of him on that front. Hit it.
I won't ride the emotional roller coaster, and I won't let our organization ride the emotional roller coaster. When you make those decisions, you can't be off of what everybody else thinks and what they say. You know, those reactions are going to happen. You know, some of the most bold decisions in anything we've ever done, not just football, they always happen when it comes with a little bit of rift. And we're not going to run away from those things and those rifts if we believe in it. And we certainly believe in it. And we won't waver on that. This doesn't come without certain expectations from everyone else, right? And that's what I mean by not riding the emotional roller coaster. We came up with a decision. This is what we plan to do. And Kirk does not have to look over his shoulder every time he throws a bad pass. Like, that is not the case. Like, So I know I'm going to have to tell you guys once or twice that that is not the case.
Okay. We will see. And I can't wait to watch it. And by the way, I am not going to be one of those that just says, oh, gosh, I was wrong. I'm going to start coming here every day and carping on the Falcons to make it seem. I would love nothing for you, anybody who I know who roots for the Falcons, to be wrong on it. I just know that in this league, you want to win now. And you want to win on a rookie contract with your rookie. And suddenly now, instead of going to get the rookie and planning on getting the rookie and having a veteran quarterback to be there in case the rookie's not ready, or to be there to bridge the rookie that is affordable so you can win around the rest of the system, you now go and get a guy who you're spending a ton of money on. Half of his rookie contract might be, in best case scenario, one would think, flushed while he stands there watching. And now, I guess the concept that used to be, if you have 2 quarterbacks, you have none. We're now in the day and age of, if you don't have 3 quarterbacks, you've got none. If you have 2, you have none. Used to be that way. Now in the NFL, it's if you don't have 3, and if you don't have your rookie while you have your veteran, you got none. Okay, we'll see what happens.
You don't subscribe to that?
I do not, no.
Given all the quarterback issues we've seen in the last couple of years,
I do not.
Playing.
I do not.
60-plus players.
And part of that is
last
because
2 years.
there are no ways to get these kids coached up anymore.
But that's why you take a guy who's ready to play, like Penix.
And let him sit.
Not everybody gets to play right away.
Dude, honestly. And the thing is, like, if I could go back in time and tell you after they signed Cousins, they're going to draft Penix 8th overall, you'd be like, oh, great, they have their quarterback of the future. No chance. No chance. It's just nuts. It's a lot of ex post facto explanation. And just like, oh, no, that kind of makes sense. And yet
We don't even know if Kirk is ready to play week 1.
Cousins would never have signed there. Never.
They offered the most money.
He would never have signed there. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.